ISO FileMaker Magazine, the professional's resource for FileMaker know-how. Well, hello there, and welcome back to yet another FileMaker tutorial where we are learning more about FileMaker Magazine. My name is Matt Petrowski, bringing you these tutorials over at my website, FileMakerMagazine.com. In this video, we have the exciting news of the FileMaker 16 release. And we're going to be taking a look at the new features and doing it from a developer's perspective. Alright, now the first tip that I can give you is that with each new FileMaker release, you can find all of the new features that FileMaker makes available in the new features area within the downloadable help. Now, FileMaker has been releasing help in a downloadable format since FileMaker 14, maybe 15 it was, but it no longer includes it in the install folder. Well, clicking on this button of the new features gives you a list of all of the new features. But being a developer myself, having worked with FileMaker for a long time, I'm always interested in what are the new features from a visual perspective. I'm a visual learner and I love to learn that way. So rather than going through all of the help and taking you through hours and hours of that, I'm going to show you in a very quick format, and it's going to look like this. I've got these 32 folders, and I've taken screenshots of all of the different new features and how they might impact you as a FileMaker developer. So let's walk through them. I'm going to take at most 30 to 40 minutes, hopefully closer to 30, in order to go through all of these and tell you what's new. Alright, so let's head into the features. I have everything broken down to things that have been added to the FileMaker application. That's Pro and or Advanced, and I'll let you know which one is which. We've got one FileMaker server, we've got our functions, which will always support our various features, and then we've got our script steps. So let's head into each of these. First off, we have our application. The calculation dialog box has been updated, and boy, is it an awesome one. Number one, you're able to preview the results of your calculation as long as they can evaluate successfully. You can, of course, turn this off by unchecking the box Automatically Evaluate, and if that's unchecked, you can click the button to evaluate results. Very cool in terms of being able to see what's going on. It does take into account the context that you are within. Next feature that we're going to have is the client memory increase. Because FileMaker is doing a lot of client-side caching, you can see that in FileMaker 15, we could only go up to a maximum of 512. Now we can go up to 2048 megabytes in terms of the client file cache. Next up, we have got copy and paste of value lists. This is a really nice feature because it rounds out all of the different things that are available in FileMaker to copy and paste, including your custom functions, your scripts, your tables, your fields, steps even, and now we can do value lists. There is no copy paste button that will be available, but you will definitely see that within the menus when you're in the value lists dialog box. Next up, we have the Layout Objects palette. This one is a big one. This is a major feature in FileMaker 16, and it's going to improve your workflow significantly. Now, I've got three screenshots here: drag, reordering, filtering, and right-clicking. First off, let's take a look at filtering. Filtering allows you to filter a given layout by all of the different object types that are on that layout. Now, what you're going to find is that you can also use this little visibility indicator, and you can select independently by holding down the Command key as many different objects as you wish, or you can select the whole range. In fact, it's quite funny. You can do a Command A to select all layout objects and basically hide all of them. Then select the one that you do want to see, whether it's grouped or not, and then basically click to the side of it in order to make it visible. It will make working with layouts extremely easy when it comes to working with your layouts. Now, another feature is drag reordering. You notice here in this screenshot that I'm able to actually drag and reorder objects. Now, the one object that we have right here, this is the symbol that actually represents a group. The one thing you cannot do is you cannot drag objects out of groups. You must actually ungroup them within the layout. Then you're able to drag, rearrange these. And all of the order here is the exact stacking order in which they appear on the actual layout. Next, we have got right-click. Now, right-click within the Layout Objects palette is going to give us the ability to actually change some of the settings on an object, such as we have right here, being able to specify the object name. So you're going to be able to see if you have a lot of those extra copies on the objects that you have. You're able to also set your conditional formatting and your script triggers, and you can also do some other manipulations such as hiding all other objects in front or in back. And all of these features deal with that little visibility indicator that we just talked about. Next up, we have our new window look. Now, this is one that I am absolutely fascinated with. This is very stereotypically a FileMaker window. In fact, anytime that I opened a custom solution and saw these icons at the bottom, I would know instantly it was developed in FileMaker. It always bugged me a little bit. It's not that big of a deal, but I really didn't have control over turning this off. Well, it is now gone in FileMaker 16. That is because our new FileMaker 16 looks like this. You can see that there are no toolbars on the sides or the bottom, and our ability to zoom in and our percentage, our ability to toggle things, those are all now going to be found within the menus. And in fact, the reason that this actually happened was because of a new feature, the card windows. We're going to take a look at that coming up. Now, one of the features that you don't have immediate access to in terms of your own abilities is external script functions or script steps. This is for plugin developers, but you're going to see plugins that are going to make script steps available. In the past, plugins were only able to expose brand new functions, but now developers of plugins are going to be able to give us script steps that we'll be able to use in our FileMaker solutions. Next up, we have the script workspace and performing a script jump. This is a very cool developer feature wherein in the script workspace now, if you hold down a specified modifier key, such as the command key on Mac, and it's probably control on Windows, if you click on the name of the script, now not on the script name itself, but the name of the script that the perform script is actually running, what will happen is a new tab, or if already opened, the currently active tab for that script will actually come to the foreground. So if I click on Execute SQL right here, with that command key, that modifier key, it will actually jump to that script. A very big productivity enhancement for FileMaker 16. Next up, within the script workspace, tabs now behave as you would expect. You can see in this screenshot, I'm dragging from this rightmost tab and dragging it to reorder it however I wish to do. This has been something that's irksome. You may click a script and then click another script and it may not be in the order that you want. Well, now you can actually drag those tabs and order them the way that your mind is working within your workflow. Next up, we have got security connection awareness. FileMaker in the past has come under fire because it was so easy to do a lot of hackish things with FileMaker. Well, nowadays they are improving the security. We're going to see that the FileMaker server has implemented new OAuth authentication, which is going to be a real big benefit, but they've modified some of the dialogues that you're going to see with regards to security, always making sure that there's a lock either in the icon within the dialog, or within dialogues there'll be the little green lock. Of course, because at the bottom the window has been modified, we won't have that green lock down there, but it will be showing up in other dialogues when connecting to FileMaker databases. Security extended privileges. This is a renaming of a few of the error items and some addition of a few others. You can see right here as I zoom in that formerly in FileMaker 15 we had FM script disabled, where you would actually have to explicitly disable Apple script. That was a little bit of a permissive function where it really didn't set FileMaker up in order to be secure from the get-go. Well, this was changed down here at the bottom where they renamed it to FM External Script Access, and now you have to check it in order to actually enable it. So by default, it's not as permissive, it's more restrictive. And you can also see that we have one for FMP URL scripts, and we also have the FM REST which is going to support a new functionality within FileMaker that if you are using Tableau, which is an external service for visualizing data, you're going to be able to do that. Of course, REST is not just for Tableau. It is something that extends far beyond Tableau. It is basically a communication model, and it allows FileMaker server itself in order to become a REST server, or being able to host data so that a REST client can actually connect to it. Next up, we have app variables and external data sources. This one is huge. Being able to dynamically change where a given FileMaker file points to for an external data source was never possible. FileMaker allows you to have multiple paths within this dialog in order to choose them in order, meaning you could have a 1, 2, and then a 3. You could turn off number 1 and then it would default to number 2, but you could never do it in a dynamic way. Well, now we can. FileMaker external data sources support global variables, meaning you can actually redirect a data source on the fly as part of your scripting. Very big in terms of giving us control. Next up, Windows. Windows people rejoice. I don't have an actual screenshot for this. I didn't load FileMaker Client on Windows. I should have, but FileMaker has moved on Windows from the MDI to the SDI interface, making the FileMaker application a single window in terms of actually working within FileMaker Pro. It's really nice to see FileMaker become so modernized on Windows. Now, our one item that we have here, and there are some other tweaks in FileMaker Server, but because this is a video for FileMaker developers working in FileMaker or FileMaker Advanced, I really didn't focus on FileMaker Server too much. But what we do have is OAuth Providers. Now, the reason that it's classified as a FileMaker Server feature is because the OAuth authentication is really only available through FileMaker Server. In other words, the client, when it loads up, it communicates with FileMaker Server. FileMaker Server then communicates with a third party. In fact, you can see right here within the help that FileMaker is supporting Amazon or Google as examples, and FileMaker may add more of those in the future. Now, what this does provide for is it provides for multi-factor authentication. If you think about this, if you have turned on two-step authentication within Google and you now set up FileMaker Server to authenticate to Google, what happens is you get that nice familiar, hey, you're going to have to enter in that PIN number and be able to do that. I haven't tested it out, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to be able to do with these third-party providers. Next up are our functions. All of our functions, while they may not seem that fancy or that helpful, these are core fundamental functions. So if you've never dealt with encryption or different encoding formats, a lot of those have been added. Starting off, we have our base64 encode RFC. Now, FileMaker already does have base64 encode and decode, but you have no control over the format. FileMaker had predefined the format that you were going to use. But here we can see in the help that with base64 encode RFC, we are going to be able to specify multiple different formats and be able to encode those in a way that might be expected. Where these come into play is when you're dealing with external services and they need that data in a specific format. And external services is what this FileMaker release is all about. And when it comes to encryption, we've got a host of functions. We've got crypt auth code. We've got crypt decrypt. We've got crypt decrypt base64, crypt digest. Very useful when working with services like Amazon. It's AWS and all kinds of other providers. Crypt encrypt, where we can encrypt data right into a field. Crypt encrypt base64, and I believe that's the round out of the crypting functions. Now, if you've not worked with all of the encryption, you have to know that the only way that you could have encrypted something previously was pretty much through a web viewer using JavaScript. I've done that. It's a hassle, and this is a lifesaver having these directly within FileMaker 16 now. Now, when it comes to OAuth, if you're going to authenticate via that third-party provider, Google, Amazon, what have you, if you want to be able to get the account name, we have a new function of get account group name. Next up, we have a new function, get region monitor events. And this is basically supported via a script step as well, I believe. What this does is it allows you to set a script that will actually trigger when a device, in particular mobile, gets within range. Now, it's not limited to mobile because you can use a little fob or a USB device that will actually detect when a device gets within range of all of the different iBeacons, or the way that we would actually know when a device is within a certain range. You can see right down here at the bottom that we have this configure region monitor script step, and we're going to see that one coming up as a new feature to FileMaker 16. Next up, we have a couple of hex functions. We've got hex decode and hex encode. Some very helpful functions if you're dealing with data that needs to be in hexadecimal format. Next up, this is where we get into the FileMaker is connecting to the rest of the world. FileMaker has a suite of JSON functions that go along with FileMaker Server's ability to handle and deal with REST. You don't have to have FileMaker Server. This is just the other side of the coin when it comes to FileMaker going out to communicate with the rest of the world. Now, JSON, which is the JavaScript something format. I'm going to mess myself up here trying to remember what JSON formats, but it's basically the structured data language that they created in JavaScript. I should know these things, but when you're as old as I am and you've got all these acronyms, they get lost on you. But here are our functions. JSON delete elements, format elements, which makes everything pretty, get element in order to retrieve an element out of JSON text, JSON list keys and list values, which can be used in conjunction with each other, which will create a familiar FileMaker single-dimensional array of a list of values. And then finally, our ever-important JSON Set Element. Now, the one thing that you'll find about these is there will be a lot of videos coming out about using JSON and all of the different functions that allows FileMaker to reach out into the world of the web and the internet and grab all kinds of stuff. And here is the tip for this video. Just like the substitute function, the JSON set elements allows you to have multiple values within it. You can see, if you don't already know, right here, this is actually JSON path format. And what you're able to do is you're able to specify that within multiple different values, just like the substitute function, within a single JSON set element. You don't have to have multiple embedded. And what you end up with is down here, this well-structured JSON object. And this allows you to communicate and interact with all of those web services that you're going to be going out and using. Lots of popular ones out there. Zapier, gosh, it can communicate to pretty much anything. If this, then that is another popular service. What we're able to do within FileMaker natively is going to be absolutely awesome. Now, we have some supporting functions here, which are going to be a really nice, handy set of functions to have. And those are sort values, which allows you to sort. You can specify the direction that you want and the locale as well. And the companion to that is going to be this one. I'll skip one. Unique values. So if you have a list of values and you want to find just those unique values and then be able to sort those within a data-based list, then you're able to do that with these two functions. Sort and unique typically go hand in hand. Now, I skipped one that is very valuable. I mean very valuable to you if you are a professional developer, and that is text decode and text encode. Formerly, FileMaker being a UTF-16 application really limited us as developers in terms of its output and the control. With text encode and decode, we are now able to actually set our encoding type and also our line endings. This is a very big thing when it comes to working with files. We can finally output contents from a container and do it as UTF-8 and control the encoding and the line endings. If we need carriage return with line feed, we can do that. If we need line feed only or carriage return only, we can do that. These text functions allow us to do that. Moving on, we have script steps. And this is the wrap up to this video, saving you as much time so that you know about all the new features of FileMaker. Of course, we're going to go deeper in the details throughout the year on the rest of my videos at FileMakerMagazine.com. If you use the AV Player, then the set options and also the AV Play script step provide these two new features of volume and zoom. Volume is going to work from 0 to 1, meaning 0.5 would be half volume, and then your zoom is going to have a fill, a fit, and a couple others that accommodate those types of settings, stretching and so forth, and you're going to see those in upcoming videos. Next up, we have the configure region monitor script. This is the companion to the function that we saw of the get region monitor events. And as we can see in the help file here, this is designed to work with iBeacons and being able to go around into areas where there's a bunch of different beacons. Think about a storage facility where you walk within a given area and then it's going to be able to pull up a list of all of the products that are within that particular shelving area. Very helpful if you're using iBeacons. Next up, we have a go-to layout. Now, this is a mobile-only feature. It is supported on the go-to layout and the go-to related script step, which also allows you to target layout, and it looks like this. We have the ability to slide in from left, from right, bottom, left, out to right, out, bottom, flip. I'm sure you can read on screen, but this is a very nice benefit. We don't get it on desktop, which would be nice to have, but since it's not standard on desktop, but it is on mobile, we at least get it on mobile first. Next up, we have a couple of additions or enhancements to insert from device when it comes to a signature. It looks like this. Our presentation now allows us to do it on a full screen as an overlay or embedded. So this is not a new script step. It's an old script step that we've had, insert from device, but this is a new enhancement to it. So that's a nice one if you're using signature capture. This, again, is where FileMaker is reaching out to the world. This one is huge. Now, FileMaker has always had curl as the library of choice embedded into it, but it really wasn't exposed. What we have now with a new button, and it's sort of hidden in the insert from URL script step, but it is this one right here that you see, specify CURL, or otherwise known as curl. When you click specify here, you're simply just going to get a blank calculation dialog box. Now that's going to be extremely disconcerting if you're just getting started with FileMaker and you don't know about curl, but basically you're going to need to go to FileMaker's help section. And the way that they implemented this, I love it. It is primed for developers. They simply allow you to specify all of the exact same options that you would normally specify when using curl on the command line. Curl as a library has been available on the command line for a decade now, probably a decade plus, and all of the options are pretty much available. One of the nice features in particular, you can actually see right here, where FileMaker is allowing us to support pushing things into and out of variables. This means that if you want to actually upload or transfer a file, you're going to be able to read that file into a global variable or a local variable and then use CURL or curl to push that file up via FTP or what have you. So working with files, as we're going to see, can happen within variables as well. A very nice enhancement that allows us to interact with the rest of the internet. And here it is, insert into variables. We can see that of the script steps, and these are the ones that are supported, insert from URL, insert calculated result, current date, current time, current username, and insert file, and insert text. They all now support this feature right here, being able to specify not just into a field, but into a variable. And you can see right here, as I've named my container variable, means that you can insert the contents of a file into a variable and then be able to transfer that if you'd like via the insert file step right there. And as we get to our end here, this one is probably the marquee feature that FileMaker is going to be promoting, at least when it comes to the UI, and that is the new card window. And there's going to be a lot of techniques that you're going to see out of this. In fact, I'm going to show you right now a technique that will be probably awe-inspiring if you haven't thought about it when you see FileMaker's own marketing information. First off, we have the new window script step, and that new window now gives us the ability to provide a card style. You can see that the layout of the whole of the dialog has been redesigned in terms of being able to, it looks like FileMaker's using a new little representation for functions, but they're not following it throughout the rest of the application. But you can see that we have an option here that's going to become available when the card is selected. Currently, document is selected, so we have more options than would be normally available on card. But on card, we will have the option to show a close box or dim the parent window. Now, what you're going to notice about cards or card style windows is the very cool thing is that we almost have a dual context ability. So in the invoices solution that I have here in this window, my background or my parent window is the company dashboard, but my card window here is actually a context of customers. And the window does define the context. So if I perform a script while the parent window is showing, but not the card, my context would be whatever layout and table occurrence that window is tied to. But with the card window, within the same window, the context changes to the window that's being shown. And the really cool thing is that if you notice in our dialog settings, we have the ability to control the position and the size. This also, by the way, applies within the go-to related. Anywhere where there is a window name or a new window possibility, that window type can be a card type. And the cool thing is, if you think about this, I can anchor this up to the top, or to the left, or to the right, or to the bottom. So as I move to the next screen, take a look at this. We can turn off the dimming of the parent window, and the only thing that we can't control, which I wish we could, all they needed to do was give us one single checkbox option, was the shadow. We cannot turn off the shadow of the card window. But what you can do is you can make a window by repositioning the card window to be the exact same size as the parent window. That causes the shadow to fall onto the outside of the visible window itself and basically makes it look like you've gone to a completely different context with a window in a window without actually having a completely second window, if that makes sense. And here's what I want you to think about. You can anchor the same context or a different context, meaning another layout, over into the leftmost area, such as a sidebar. So if you replicate this shadow area on your main screen with a given sidebar, but you want to show a list view from a completely different layout, you can do that. You just show a card window, turn off the close option, and you can be in a completely different context in a sidebar in terms of the parent window. Now, can you click through onto the bottom? You cannot. Can you resize the window? You cannot. But you're going to see a lot of different simulated effects, allowing a user to basically interact within the user interface where that context is completely different than the parent window. It's a really nice feature that we're going to see a lot of cool techniques showing up. And towards our last one, our Open Launch Center, not super exciting. There's not too many times that I'm using the Launch Center as a developer, but if you do use it in your development workflow, we do have a new script step of being able to open the Launch Center. And finally, this one is huge for those of you that are outputting reports. This works on both FileMaker Server and on FileMaker, well, it looks like I didn't rename that one right there. Let me do that right there really quick for myself. We now have the ability to do PDFs on server. That's on for WebDirect and for FileMaker Server as well. I've only got one step here that I'm showing, save records as PDF, but this also impacts the print setup script step and the print step as well when it comes to outputting dialog PDFs. And again, this can be done on server. You can see in this screenshot that I have set the compatibility mode to server, and as long as the dialog is turned off, we are going to be able to save those PDFs to server and then be able to present them through WebDirect or email them or do all kinds of things on the server side without having to go to using plugins or external functionality. So that is the roundup of all of the different features. Now, there are probably more than 32 actual features. I've just broken them down into the major categories, but you're going to see many other videos popping up across the web, many from myself as I dive deeper into the individual functions. I just wanted to get these out to you so that you could have a good sense of what's new in FileMaker 16 and sort of assess how it's going to impact your own workflow when you're developing with FileMaker Pro. As always, I'd like to wish you much luck with your own FileMaker development, and until next time, happy FileMaking. We hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial, and we'd like to say thank you for your subscription and your support. If you're not already a subscriber, head on over to www.filemakermagazine.com/subscribe for more information about the benefits of joining.